Thank you.
Yes, so in that case, I'll have to ask Sister Nyaguti to read again so she can be captured reading. But let's hear from Sister Shola with that first paragraph. And then Sister Nyaguti, if it's okay, you reread the paragraph you read again so that we can capture it on the recording. Thank you very much. Sister Shola, yes, fire away. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll pass, please.
You pass, okay. In that case, let's go to Brother Emmanuel, please. So I'm going in terms of what is on my screen. So, Brother Emmanuel, you are next on my screen. Can you read the paragraph for us, please? Feel free to pass if you want to. So you start from with single-minded devotion, that paragraph.
So you say from the evaluation?
With single-minded devotion, that line.
With single-minded.
Can you see this line here in the middle with single-minded devotion?
Oh, it's actually cutting my, it is cut on my screen.
Yes, but the actual paragraph is on your right. It should be on your right, yeah? The one that says with single-minded devotion.
It is on my right. That is what being cut on my screen.
Okay, all right. I'll pass then, yeah? If it's okay with you. I'll pass on to Brother Ibrahim if he's now still in a quiet place and can read.
I think you have to scroll down a bit so that we can see the.
Scroll up or down.
See the.
Can you see it now? As you go up. Is that better?
No, go up a bit.
If I go up, it will disappear from my screen.
Introduced. I was introduced to.
Not that one. Not that one.
Okay, go up.
This one with single-minded devotion.
No, you've scrolled down too
Kwame,
much.
can I read? Kwame, can I read it?
Yeah, can you? Yeah, hold on, Brother Pigeon. So it takes a while for the screen that I'm on to filter through and come to your end because we are on the internet. Yeah. But if you look at it now, on the screen are two paragraphs. We are reading the one on the right, where it reads, the beginning of the paragraph reads, with single-minded devotion, that paragraph.
No, it's not part of the screen here. Okay, let me.
Well, it's not part of the screen. Okay. Let's go to Brother. All right, that's from we passed.
Paragraph is being introduced here. All social circumstances. Which
can you see it now?
Went into United. No, it's still not displayed yet.
It's fine.
The last paragraph
it's fine. Brother Ibrahim, let's pass. Let's go to Brother Lawal. Can you see the screen, Brother Lawal?
I want to know, where am I to read from, sir?
From with single-minded devotion. Can you see it?
No, I can't see it. That's the second paragraph.
What can you see? What can you see?
The 10 years which I spent.
Is that what you can see?
In the United States of America. And if I go
up, may I read?
The evaluation.
Yeah, okay.
I can't scroll up. I can't scroll up.
Okay. Is that Brother Mafafa?
Yes.
All right. If you can see it, you read. Yeah, read on. Read.
Brother Kwame, can you unmute that guy?
Oh, is that Brother Lawal? He's unmuted himself. Yeah, he's muted himself.
Okay. Mafafa, proceed.
With single-minded devotion, the colonial student leaders through the intricacies of the philosophical system.
Brother Mafafa, a lot of noise in your background.
May you please,
unless I'm getting it wrong.
It's not on my side.
It's not on your side.
Leadership.
It's on Dambele's side. Okay, I'm muted Dambele now. All right, carry on. Start again, please.
Yes, thanks. With single-minded devotion, the colonial student meanders through the intricacies of the philosophical systems. And yet this system did aim at providing a philosophical account of the world in the circumstances and the condition of their time. For even the philosophical systems are facts of history. By the time, however, that they came to be accepted in the universities for exposition, they have lost their vital power which they had at their first statement. They have shed their dynamism and the polemic reference. This is a result of the academic treatment which they are given. The academic treatment is the result of an attitude to philosophical systems as though there was nothing to them but statements standing in logical relation to one another.
Thank you. Thank you. Sister Nyagusi, can you now read what you read so that it's recorded? Is that okay? Thank you very much.
This defective approach of scholarship was suffered by different categories of colonial students. Many of them had been handpicked and, so to say, carried certificate of worthiness with them. These were considered fit to become enlightened servants of the colonial administration. The process by which this category of students became fit usually started at an early age, for not infrequently they had lost contact early in life with their traditional background. By reason of their lack of contact with their own roots, they became prone to accept some theory of universalism, provided it was expressed in a vague, mellifluous terms.
Mellifluous. Thank you.
Mellifluous.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Thank you very much.
Terms.
Mellifluous terms, yeah. Thank you, Brother Mafafa. Thank you, Sister Nyagusi, for reading. What I'll do next time is I'll try and get the book so that we can only see one page at a time. That means we'll have to re-photocopy it again so that when it's on the screen, you can only see one page on my screen, therefore on your screen, so you don't have two.
No, Brother Kwame.
Yes.
The other version of the book has only one page. This other version has 2 pages in one book. So you
so you and I will work on that, yeah? So that we only use that for the reading.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's have a discussion. We're going to move from one person to the other. You've heard the reading. You share with us what you think. So I'll leave those who have read, who have already read. I'll start from, so when I call your name, please unmute yourself and share your thinking on what we have read. So let's start with Dambele, please.
Brother Kwame.
Yes.
I'll propose that we could provide a background of what you read previously, so that at least a background, so that the people who will be giving explanation here can know where are you coming from.
Comrade, let's just continue. Let's just continue. They've had the reading.
Thank you.
Let them tell us what they think about the reading. Dambele, you are first. So unmute yourself and share what you think. I can always come back to you if you're not ready. If you want to hear other people first before you speak, please pass and then we'll come back to you later. Brother Dambele, are you ready? Okay, Dambele is not ready. Let's go to Brother Bule. Is it brother or sister Bule? I don't know. Pick Child Bule.
Brother Kwame, kindly unmute Comrade
I can hear it. Just give me some time. So,
greetings, family. Greetings.
yeah.
Can you hear me? Sorry, there's a train passing by. Hold on 1 second, please.
Yes, that's all right.
Yes, can you hear? Can you hear me?
We can hear you indeed.
Yes. How are you?
We are fine, thank you.
Okay. Do you want me to introduce myself? Is that the question?
It's the first time. No, the question, we've just done some reading. Did you hear the reading? It's on the screen.
I can see. Yes, I can see it. Yes.
What can you see? Which paragraph can you see?
The evaluation of one's own social circumstance.
Oh, no, that's not the one we read. I'm repeating. Why is that that's the one people can see when on the screen?
That's what I can see on the screen.
That's what you can see. Okay. All right.
What you need to do? Can you move your screen, brother? Come towards the right, so that this other paragraph goes away a bit. Move it towards the right.
Okay.
Just move it. Just move it again.
So it's moving to different pages. That's not what we want.
It's becoming an issue.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Let's let me go back to where we were. Because it's showing one page, we'll sort that out another time. But
Somebody can expand it.
If I expand it, okay. Let's see if this one would work. Is that better?
No, yes, now move to the right now. It's better.
I've moved all the way to the right. I can't move the right anymore. Is that better?
Then, yes, far much better. So somebody who's reading can position his screen now, the person reading.
Okay. So we've read those paragraphs. Let's hear what people think of the paragraphs. So let's continue with Brother Boulay. Brother Boulay, share with us your thinking. Yeah, share with us what you think, Brother Boulay.
What I think about what exactly? Consciencism?
What we read. Did you hear what we read earlier?
No, unfortunately, I just not long ago, sorry.
Oh, all right. We'll come back to you then. Listen to what other people say, and then you can share what you think later. Let's go to Brother Lawal. Brother Lawal is not ready, so we'll go to Brother John.
Okay, according to the passage and according to the reading that we have here, like the first sentence state that with the single mandate devotion, actually what it means, during the colonial period, the students were supposed to have like one mind that could actually move the Africa into another position. But the system faced some challenges. System faced some challenges from the invaders who actually put it let me get back to the sentence where it says that and yet these systems did aim at providing the first of account of the world in the circumstances and conditions of their time. According to me, the way I understand this passage,
Yeah, remember you are sharing with us your understanding. Yeah.
That's
fine. Carry on.
Okay, so the whole system of Africa was actually affected by the colonial system at the time, where the philosophers were trying to put one mind to the student of Africa on how they can liberate and how they can move together to make the African a better continent. Someone can take from there.
Okay, thank you very much. That was wonderful to hear your view on that. So we heard from Brother John. Let's now hear from Brother Danbele. Can you speak now, Danbele? Because your mic is on. Okay, Danbele is still not ready. So let's go to Brother Emmanuel. Brother Emmanuel, can you share your thinking? Okay, Emmanuel is not ready. Let's go to Brother Samuel. Oh, he hasn't got a mic. So someone has no mic. All right, let's go to Brother Pigeon.
Thank you, Brother Kwame. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, to my understanding of the paragraph is that Nkrumah is trying to continue describing the colonial students. And to my understanding previously that Nkrumah was describing most of colonial students, either who were taken out of Africa, or went out of Africa to study in the colonial institutions and systems, and that they were introduced to an history based on the perspectives of those who are teaching them and not the reality. And probably this history and this philosophy that they were taught is what formed that single-minded devotion. And hereby Nkrumah says that with that single-minded devotion, the colonial student meanders through the intricacies of philosophical systems. So the colonial student having got out of Africa, for example, and being exposed to other philosophical systems, he now tries to go through or meander through this philosophical system, but is from a single-minded devotion, is from what is informed or what is taught. And yet this system did not aim at providing any philosophical account of the world in the circumstances and conditions of their time. That the education system that most of Africans were exposed to or they were given at the initial studies during the independence or colonialism were not purely taking into consideration the facts of Africa or anything else that was going in the history of Africa, but rather the white men or the colonial teachers decided to change and tune the history and the education system to inform an African person based on what they wanted to hear or what they wanted to produce out of this student. So this is what I'm getting here. And I also get that the aspect is that this academic treatment is a resource of an attitude to philosophical system as though they were nothing to them, but statements standing in logical relation to one another. So Nkrumah is trying to describe a situation whereby the philosophical accounts have been actually destroyed or diminished or even turned or changed for the aspect to fulfill the colonial intention. And this is a situation we find across many histories or books that are written by the whites about Africa, and even the education system we go through today, that we inherited the education system probably from the white, that will want to inform you who you are based on the angles of a white person. And this actually do not take into consideration or account of what we went through, do not take into consideration our historical events. And therefore, even as we are calling ourselves educated or schooled, we are educated to the angle of a white man, but not actually to embrace the tradition and beliefs of Africa. And he goes ahead in the second paragraph, to my understanding, that this defective approach to scholarship was suffered by different categories of colonial students. Many of them had been unpicked and, so to say, carried certificates of worthiness with them. So the colonial masters, I think during the foundation of Africa, or during the foundation of many countries during independence, had picked the people they thought could be successful, of course, independent presidents. And they had now to put them into a system to train them and educate them so that when they come back, they still serve their masters. They become like puppets of the colonial administration, and to ensure that even if Africa attain what's so-called independent, they'll continue the process of colonial missions and intention, which is to be the best servants and the African representatives of the colonial masters. And this is the problem we suffer today. Some countries still say that our presidents are puppets of the West because they're exposed to a system that is foreign to Africa and do not take into consideration of Africa, and therefore they just continue the colonial system. This is what I understand. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Pigeon. Comrade Samuel, you have unmuted your mic on now. Did you hear what was read? And if so, what do you think? Unmute yourself and tell us what you think. Brother Samuel? Okay. Okay. Brother Samuel is not responding. So we'll go to Brother Mafafa, please. I know you read, but yeah, tell us what you read, about what you read. Thank you.
Yes, thanks. Thanks.
So you are responding to what you read and what Sister Nyaguthi read.
Yes, thanks. Thanks, Brother Kwame. I will just highlight some few parts as you read the first paragraph, as it says, with single-minded devotion. I will just pick that word and try to explain my understanding. When you read something, I will make an example. When someone says single-minded devotion, I will make an example in the context of religion. When we say someone is single-minded devotion, maybe in terms of God, which means it entails the love that he have for with his or her heart, putting God first, which means it's something that is directed. It means you are devoted somewhere. In this context, I feel like on my understanding, Kwame Nkrumah was trying to highlight the one purpose which was being determined to achieve a certain particular goal that these students were subjected to. If you continue, it says that the colonial students were minders through the intricacies of philosophical systems. If we say the colonial students were minders, my understanding is that these colonial students were made because minders, I feel like in a context, it is a verb, which means is to follow. It means that these colonial students were made to follow the word, the term intricacies, and according to understanding is to say something that is very much complicated, which is something that is very much complicated relating to the philosophical system. That is what I understand more so in those first lines. And when we continue to highlight, was also highlighting the issue of these systems and the education, to say that even in ourselves, what he was trying to highlight on that part of the systems that exist, that us even today we are being exposed to this foreign system, and the education itself plays a role for us to adopt those those systems. I think my data is I can end there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Mafafa. I'm just taking your name off my list as having spoken. Thank you. Let me go back to Dan Bele. Can you unmute yourself and speak at all? What about Brother? Oh, some people have dropped off. Okay, so Brother Emmanuel has dropped off. Brother Samuel is still here. Brother Samuel, are you able to? Dambele has also dropped off. So, Brother Samuel, are you able to unmute yourself and share your thinking?
Yes, please.
Oh, carry on then. Where are you speaking from, Brother Samuel?
I'm speaking from Kampala, Uganda.
Okay, excellent. Carry on, please.
Yes, but I joined in later. I'm sorry for that. I joined in later. I received the communication late. But I
you heard what was read, correct?
I appreciate the great work being done.
Did you hear what was read?
This paragraph that is on the screen right now.
Yeah, which one can you see? The first line.
I'm seeing the slide that is talking about the single-minded devotion.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yes, tell us what you think about the paragraph. We read 2 paragraphs. So share with us your thinking. If you're not ready, we can always come back to you.
Yes, it is okay.
Okay, all right. Let's go to Brother Ibrahim. Brother Ibrahim, what do you think?
I think, sorry, I was in the public site. I think the message is trying to talk about the colonial students, I mean, who have been given an, a philosophical instrument with their colonial masters. What they teach us or what they give them is not, I mean, indirectly beneficial to the continent, but like a condition to fit their needs as a whole. So it's not about what will be beneficial to us. So what they learn is will not be developmental to us, but for their masters indirectly. I think that's, in the summary, that's all.
All right, thank you very much, Brother Ibrahim. Brother Lawal. Is Brother Lawal still here? Let me check. Yes, Brother Lawal is here. Brother Lawal, share your thinking with us, please.
Brother Lawal has communicated that he's having a visitor to attend to, so maybe he might be passively listening.
Okay, all right. So, all right. So let's move on to Sister Nyaguthi herself, who read.
So what I get from this is how the colonial system has affected the children in such a way that they forget their actual power, the true power. I think it's speaking about the corruption that the colonial system has had, the kind of impact it has had on the mentality of these specific handpicked students. Yeah.
And what do you think has been the effect on them?
So they lost their power, which they had. They simply lost their power. They lost their roots, their ethnicity, and they became colonialized, in short.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's it.
Thank you very much, Sister Nyaguthi, for sharing your thinking. Brother Dambele, you are back. Are you able to speak? I see your mic is on. Brother Dambele, can you speak? Because your mic is on.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Are you?
I can hear you.
Are you to me, sir?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I really appreciate your efforts on this program. I think this is my first.
Hold on. Where are you speaking from?
Okay.
Which country?
I'm speaking from Kaduna State, Nigeria.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Okay.
Nigeria.
All right. Carry on. Did you hear what we read?
Yeah.
Did you hear it? Did you hear the reading?
Actually, unfortunately, I not here the reading. I just joined, but this is my first time to join. I really appreciate and we appreciate your effort on this program. We think this will benefit for the whole Africa, and we should get the united of the Africa in the future, in the near future, inshallah. Thank you very much. But I will be with you, inshallah, for the next program that I'll be full-time, inshallah. So I really appreciate your efforts, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So we've heard from almost everyone now, except so brother Emmanuel, brother Bule. So you've now heard. I know you couldn't see before, so you didn't hear before. Now you've heard from almost everyone now. Any thoughts on what is on the screen and what you've heard?
Yeah, I mean, I think I come from the Congo, Kinshasa, although I'm based in London, in the UK.
Well, you're speaking from London, are you?
I'm speaking from London, yes. And so my thoughts, on the, what I've heard, from my comrades is that yeah, I mean, basically neo-colonialism, is here today, in our very eyes, and what was before, I could say it could have been detected more easily than it is now, and neo-colonialism that is today, is actually quite it's quite well, it's quite international. It's not just black on black crimes or black on black offenses. You see, neo-colonialism has taken, such, such an international, or let's say, a whole races are part of it, and everyone who wants a piece, or a piece of the cake, as it was in Berlin, of Africa, is welcome, even by the so-called, revolutionary, right? And so if I now compare it with consciencism, I find it quite interesting, and the fact also that you mentioned, and Kwame Nkrumah, he was a Marxist, but he wasn't such. He started as a Marxist, then I could say became then, created, or let's say evolve, himself, into consciencism, but as on a pan-African, values, principles, also. And so what we have to be, what I would say is what is happening today, and I think what is good with what is happening now with our platform right now as we're speaking, because we are critically thinking about what we're supposed to know and what we're supposed to do, you see, and that in itself, we should be grateful for, and we should not, take it for granted, but it has to be applied, because the motherland is actually, it wants people like us to actually serve her and protect her and liberate her, and so it's not just about having studying and and having the knowledge, but knowledge is only powerful if it is applied, you see. And so if I go back into, to compare neo-colonialism with consciencism, I do appreciate this platform, and I hope that it will, bear fruit, and it will grow and expand, locally, nationally, and internationally, and using, social media in a very mindful way. And the best way would be to actually use it even independently, if possible, as a self-reliant, should I say, Pan-African community. And that will definitely be a lot more productive, because it's a counter. Because we have to remember that we are using the imperialist social platform, and we have no excuse to actually create our own nowadays, because we are the first, we are the last, we are everything. It's not about the knowledge that is lacking us.
Okay.
And I would say it's probably the unity and the more awareness and the warrior spirit of our ancestors, maybe. But yeah, I mean, neocolonialism is very, very dangerous, because we may thinking, oh, the Russian, the Chinese are our friends, we have to welcome them. They're fighting the imperialists and everything. But we have to be very, 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 very mindful, because that has nothing to do with consciencism. And in fact, if I remember clearly, I remember that Kwame Nkrumah was critical about Russia, that Russia was not intervening, fast enough in the African continent back then, back in the 60s and the 70s and, the 50s, 60s, and he was very critical about them. And so we have to be also mindful about it and understand that it is a Pan-African movement. And it is so that we can liberate ourselves and then and take control of our resources and everything else. Okay, we can have allies and friends and whoever, but we have to be very, very mindful. We have first and foremost make sure that we take care of ourselves, look after ourselves. And we don't need, as one of our fellow educator, John Henry Clark said, we have no friend. We have no friends. Even those who pretend to be our friends are not our friends. They're just there because they know who we are under the sun and they know what we have under our soul, And so that's the only, and also because they want to be up there, they're competing with the, to be, the top, to be at the top.
So Boulay,
yes.
So philosophically, in terms of what we read, so thank you for sharing all this with us. So if I was to ask you to then bring out the philosophical aspect of what you are saying in terms of what we are reading, what would be your response?
Well, because I wasn't really there when you read, I'm just focusing on the consciencism, a bit, and what I've heard from my comrades is that we should be mindful of the confusion that we have, in colonialism and also even consciencism, because not all our brothers and sisters are truly our brothers and sisters. Some of them are so lost, in institution, in the imperialist education, and invaders, religions, and so forth. I mean, so many confusion nowadays with AI and IT and modern, so-called modern life, that we forget our true roots and culture, and we are very easy to actually lean our hands and and welcome when it and we close the eyes and don't see danger and don't see that in the long run it's not necessarily it may come from the heart but with an ignorance instead of coming from the heart but with a mindful and thoughtful thoughtful approach, you see. And I personally that's my my worry, but also I'm always positive in the sense that as long as we have group like this, and also we have our ancestors within us. So I trust my ancestors that it is our time still, but obviously we are ending the worst or the chaotic time and entering into a very let's say a golden era for us, but we have to be very patient and we have to keep on keeping on. Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your view. Okay, let's move on back to the reading. Let's go on to the next paragraph. Ooh, we've gone too far. Give me a moment, please. Comrade Pigeon, so tell me if I'm on the right page. So we are on page 4, but before that we read part of it is on page 3. So there is armed with their universalism, they carried away from their university courses and attitude. Right, continue from there, Brother Pigeon, for us, please.
Thank you very much, Brother Kwame. Hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, so allow me to start from the paragraph above so that you can move in the.
So it's on my screen. Yeah, carry on.
You've hidden the part of armed with, but let me proceed with university then.
Okay, well, I can go up. Can you see it?
Yes, there. So thank you. armed with their universalism, they carried away from there, now move to the next page, from their universities, courses and attitude entirely at variance with the concrete reality of their people and their struggle. When they came across doctrines of a combative nature, like those of Marxism, they reduced them to arid abstractions, to common room subtleties. In this way, through the good graces of their colonialist patrons, these students, now competent in the art of forming not a concrete environmental view of socio-political problems, but an abstract liberal outlook, began to fulfill the hopes and expectations of their guides and guardians.
Thank you. Now, before I ask everyone to share their views, let me just give a bit of background at this point. So the paragraphs before this paragraph talked about those students who were picked and, as it were, had certificates of worthiness. So if you look at the reading carefully, it was talking about students who today politically will call them conservatives. Notice that in this paragraph, Nkrumah uses the word liberal in inverted commas, single inverted commas. So what Nkrumah is telling us here is that this is the makeup of liberal politicians. And liberal politicians are the kind of politicians we have on the continent today, in the sense that we have elections, 4 years, 5 years in various countries. You have elections, and they talk about freedom, liberation, freedom, vote for the multi-party democracy, 4-year election term. The president is elected and stays in office for 4 years. It's another election. And this is liberalism. The current political system is liberalism. So what Nkrumah is giving us here is a background to the liberal makeup. So I'll stop there and ask for people's views on what has been read. So I'll go back to the list again on the screen, and I'll ask Brother Simon, since he's not connected his audio, to share with us. Simon, what is your thinking on what Brother Pigeon has read?
Hello.
Hi.
Good day, everybody.
Where are you speaking from, Brother Simon?
I am speaking from Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe, excellent.
Yes. For now, you see, I was about to listen and read what is on the screen so that I will give my opinion after I've just gone through, because I've just joined the meeting. Okay. I was having some challenge to join the meeting, but
it's fine.
now I'm not the meeting.
I'll come back to you. So you read and then I'll come back to you. Ashia, can you share with us what you think, please? So Simon, I'll come back to you. So Ajete Ashia, Ifo, can you unmute yourself and share with us what you think, please? Okay, Ashia is not ready. So we'll go to Brother Danbele. All right, is Danbele ready? If not, we'll come back to you, Danbele. Let's go to Spala, please. Share your thinking with us.
Yes, Honorable. No, can you please carry on? I'm still listening. Can you please carry on?
Thank you, Brother Spala. Let's go to Brother John, please.
From this paragraph, from this chapter that you have just opened, actually, the Kwame Nkrumah is trying to explain to us on how the student actually gained hope after the struggle that they faced during the colonial period. And according to this, the parties that actually intervened the African continent, they saw it as they started targeting the culture of the people to, let me go back to the paragraph.
Yes. So the paragraph is talking about how they left the university with a certain mindset. So that mindset is in that paragraph. So how do you see it? If you want to go back to the paragraph, it's fine. I'll come back to you. Is that fine, John?
Right. Okay, I was a little bit busy and I should just go back to the paragraph.
Yeah, but I can come back to you later if you want to have a look at the paragraph again. Is that okay with you? Or do you want to continue?
All right. Yeah.
Should I come back to you?
Yeah, you should come back to me.
I'll come back to you then. Let's go to Brother PJ.
Thank you, Brother Kwame. I think of reading from here that these students are now armed with that concept of universalism. And you see, they are, as I said, they are an attitude entirely at variance with the concrete reality of their people and their struggle. So when these people went out there and they came back, the theories and the philosophy and the teachings that they were exposed to were not in terms and in tandem with whatever was going on in Africa. And now, when they came across this, some of course, philosophies, as we are saying, they're in that philosophical interests. They came about philosophy like Marxism. They tried to ignore such philosophy or even bypass such philosophies. That's what my understanding is. And you see, in this way, it said that they were under their patrons, the colonial masters, who these students were trying now to refer to. And in fact, even their experiences and the social economic environment, political problems were totally outside their understandings. And even their outlook of whatever was going on and the experiences were based on their guidance. So I think this might be the foundation of the problem sometimes Africa faces at the founding processes, when majority of those who ended up being the founding leaders of Africa did not actually be in reality and in terms of what was going on in Africa. So when they came, they were purely weaponized. As it was said, they were handpicked. They were purely weaponized, and they were not to serve the interests of Africa. And that's why most of Africa's state did not actually maybe attain the real independence, but was a continuation of puppets. So this system has been here for a long period of time. That's why most of even presidents of Africa go and study abroad, they come back. Most of them have some studies from the abroad, and you see all the time when they have problems, they refer to the West or the East, they always run out there. So I think this is the confusion in the leadership process of Africa, where most of the leaders in Africa, even before and even currently, are studying from the system of the West, and they'll always try to view the African problem from the West angle, which actually is against the spirit of Africa. And I can maybe think that this is the reason why Africa has not been liberated for all this long, despite of us having leaders, because these leaders actually are serving their masters who are their guardians and their patrons, and their thinking and the mentality of leadership. For example, I'll give an example. These current youth in Africa who are going through the Obama Foundation leadership training, they're being trained out in America. Others are going in Germany and the UK for training. They stay there for 1 year. When they come back in Africa, they don't try to apply the reality on the grounds. And that's why consciencism goes along in scientific facts. So this is where we are missing. And this is going on up to now, unfortunately. And it's meaning that we need to do more effort to re-teach and educate the more generation that can counter this. This is my understanding. Thank you.
Thank you very much. But Comrade Pigeon, before I move on, what would you say about the combative nature of Marxism? Is that something you are familiar with?
Not really. I haven't taken much interest in Marxism as such, but I find it more of extreme to the side.
Okay. So Marxism is a combative ideology. So as we all may or may not know, Marxism is a Western philosophy, but its aim is to overthrow capitalism. Our aim as Africans is to overthrow capitalism. So it turned out that there were certain Europeans, European Marxists, who wanted capitalism overthrown, and then Africans also wanted the same thing. So then it seemed natural that we are brothers and sisters, if you like. The point is that Marxism is a combative ideology, meaning that it is for philosophical and ideological combat. If you want to, so combat is a fight. If you want to fight your enemy, the highest form of warfare is philosophical and ideological war. Because that is where it is happening. The students that we are referring to, and Brother Pigeon's example, that they go to the Obama Foundation and so on to learn leadership skills. There is also one leadership skills being spearheaded by Obasanjo, former president of Nigeria. All these are to capture the mind of the African leadership. That is what they are about. Because if you capture the mind, its mind, then you have captured the person. So Marxism is a combative ideology. It is an ideology for fighting at the economic front. Yeah, you see. So that's what it's about. And so what happened is that when certain Africans were exposed to this philosophy, they just couldn't deal with it because they didn't understand how to use it to fight something that some of them loved. Because some of them wanted to be with the white man. They wanted to be with the white institutions. And because they loved their oppressors. They loved their oppressors. They loved their oppressors. They loved their enemy more than themselves. You remember there's a passage in the Christian Bible that says, love your enemies and pray for those who despitefully use you. So if you are exposed to such teaching, that it's okay to have enemies, and that you should pray for them, why would you want to fight them? So when some of these people, I remember some of our leaders during Nkrumah's time went through missionary schools. Only the missionaries set up schools, and the missionaries set them up, the schools up, to teach them to be docile servants of colonialism. Those of them who came out to fight against education and the Nkrumahs were the unexpected ones. That's not how they were being trained, to lead. You see, so people like Nkrumah were an aberration from the kind of university education that we are reading right now. That they went through, that some of the others went through. Some of the people who were handpicked were children of the very rich and powerful at the time. So there is in Ghana a family called the Ofori-Atta family. And the Ofori-Atta families, the reason they became powerful was because the chief of that group at the time allowed his son Nana Onana Ofori-Atta, to come to England and attend an English university. Our then leaders, the universities they went to were Cambridge and Oxford. And if you attend the University of Cambridge and Oxford, what are you being trained to do? You are being trained to be a leader of the imperialist power. That's what you are being trained to do. So I just thought I'll mention what is unique about Marxism. So if anybody here is not familiar with Marxism, just get yourself, familiarize yourself with it in terms of its position on economics, because what it's saying is that capitalism must be overthrown. That's what we want. We want capitalism on the African continent to be overthrown because we've had it, but as Sister Nyanguti said, we're just getting poorer and poorer and poorer because capitalism is not interested in enriching Africans. Its purpose is to continue to enrich the Europeans and the Americans and our enemies, if you like. So thank you very much. I'll pause there. The time is 4 minutes to 6. So I don't think we'll do any further reading. We'll stop the reading there. I will ask Brother Pigeon to then chair till 6 o'clock when the meeting comes to a close. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Kwame, for your explanation and expounding on such facts and clear statements. Based that we are having 3 minutes to go, I'd like to give only one person who feels that he has something concerning or burning in regards to what we have read to have at least a minute or 2 minutes to share his idea.
He or she.
I'd like
Don't forget,
to ask.
we must always balance the sexes.
I've said one person, so I'd like to ask he or she who is having any one burning idea or one burning concept in regards to what we've read to at least spend a minute or 2 minutes to the maximum before we wind up. So anybody, maybe a general view of the class or whatever you've read here, only a minute or 2. Just raise up your hands. I'll allow you to speak. So just raise your hand or try to unmute your mic. Our class has come to an end. The next classes will be reading on Thursday, next Thursday. And we invite you all. I'll share the updates and be part of this. Let's learn together. So any person who has anything that he feels that he can share within a minute before we wind up, either observation or any comment. Thank you. Yes, Brother Bolo.
Yeah, hi. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight a little bit what was said regarding Marxism, because Marxism, although they say they try, is their goal is to, defeat capitalism. It was still a Western approach, led mainly by the middle classes, and so of the West. And so those middle classes, they are like, the middlemen, or let's say the right hand, of those so-called elites to actually subdue the poor, in a sense, So we have to be very, very, very mindful with Marxism. I do not know much about it, but I know a little bit about it. And I also believe the reason why Kwame Nkrumah, actually went further, deeper into what he knew about Marxism, into creating, consciencism, is for that very reason, that what he got enlightened, from. He got, he actually knew that, this Marxism was purely Western. It was a Western ideology for the Western world, not for the whole world, not for Africa at all. It was for the West. And it was not necessarily, implemented as such, and it's still not. And that's the reason why we still have capitalism in a sense, because I grew up in Europe, I grew up in Paris and, here in the UK, I know a lot of, let's say all the, multi, ethnic, people. And you see a lot of people, they pretend to be revolution. They pretend to.
Apologies.
I will just finish.
Just wait up.
Yeah, just 10 seconds. Yeah. They pretend to be revolutionary. They pretend to, banish capitalism, but they benefit so much from it that, it's even, contradictory from what they say and how they live, But I will stop it there. But it's a very westernized, idea. We have to be very mindful how we interpret it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the caution, and I know Brother Kwame was also giving us the same caution in other aspects. So this is the end of our class today, and the next class will be on next Thursday. How my wish is that we could all of us attend the next class so that we can continue these thought processes. So welcome again, and we appreciate your presence today. I'll give you updates and notification on any other class that is upcoming. In case you have any concern, comment, or any other update in regards to how we conduct our classes, you are free to share with me via inbox or anywhere else possible. So thank you very much for your attendance today, and see you again on Thursday. God bless you all.
Okay, so I'm going to pause the recording and I'll pass it on to Brother Pigeon for editing and sharing. Yeah. So thank you all. I'm going to end the meeting for us all. Thank you. Bye-bye.